If you're looking for a channel, keep it real and spitting facts. No need to look further. Gangsta emoji where it's at.
We keep it gangsta.
Everything I say, keep it real.
We keep it gangsta.
Everything I say, you can feel. If you looking for a channel, keep it real and spitting facts. No need to look further. Gangsta emoji where it's at.
We keep it gangsta.
Everything I say, we keep it real.
We keep it gangsta.
Everything I say, you can feel.
Hey guys, it's your girl Miss Lita, and I'm back with another video. So first things first, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back to the hottest YouTube channel on this planet, where we keep it gangster with our gangsters. So how y'all doing? Y'all alright? Y'all okay? Well, good then. If you new around this block, we ask that you go ahead and like this video, share it with your friends and family, and most importantly, subscribe. Subscribe. Become part of the family. And when you do become a part of the family, make sure you turn on your gangstification bells. Turn them on. So that way you can be the first one. Not the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, or the sixth, but the first one to get this hot sizzle as we drop it off in this YouTube streets, honey. But please, don't forget to make sure to like this video. If you don't like it, give us a thumbs down. Either way, we thank you in advance for simply just watching. Okay, y'all, we're going to get into this article for today. This is disturbing to me, and we definitely going to talk about it afterwards. I'm going to input some clips for you guys to watch, and then, of course, it wouldn't be Miss Lita if I didn't have some questions afterwards. So be ready for my commentary after watching the clips.
That was shot 4 times, including once in his head. It happened back in 2019. He was only 11 months old at the time. Sadly, Lasheem Jenkins has died. Action News reporter Annie McCormick live for Outside Police Headquarters with an update on this tragic story. Annie.
Yeah, and Gray, the medical examiner's office will perform an autopsy on little Yassim to see if he died as a result of his injuries from that 2019 shooting. Depending on the result, the alleged shooter could face upgraded charges of homicide. A vigil for 3-year-old Yassim Jenkins in West Philadelphia tonight. Yassim died yesterday after surviving a 2019 shooting.
Too many mothers' children are being ripped from their arms, and this needs to stop. This is a product of our environment.
The alleged shooter, Francisco Ortiz, is in jail awaiting multiple trials, including 2 unrelated cases, one for a gun charge and a domestic homicide case. Police say Yassim was shot 4 times while strapped into his car seat when his father took him on a drug deal. 2-year-old Nicolette Rivera was shot and killed in Kensington the day after Yassim. In a disturbing twist, Ortiz is believed to have supplied the AK-47 that killed Nicolette. Investigators said at the time the children's fathers were the intended targets.
Both of these cases are horrific demonstrations of how dangerous the drug trade is in the city of Philadelphia. Drugs and violence go hand in hand.
But Yassim appeared to have fought through the worst of his injuries. His mom said that he was now sitting up, and he never lost his smile and spirit. Erica Ledwell spoke on behalf of his mother's family tonight.
His endless fight. How many adults you know went through what he went through and survived? He was the most happiest baby you ever met in your life. He was joy.
And the suspected shooter, Ortiz, has a lengthy criminal history. In fact, the January prior to Yassim's shooting, he had just been released from prison after serving a 10-year sentence. We're now reporting live outside of police headquarters. Annie McCormick for Action News at 10 on PHL 17.
Baby Yassim Jenkins was taken to a drug deal by his father. His father felt that if he had his son in the vehicle with him, that the drug dealer would not shoot at him due to the fact that he seen a child there. However, that wasn't the case. Once his father approached the drug dealer, he proceeded to give the drug dealer, who is now known as Francisco Ortiz, counterfeit money. After the drug dealer realized that it was counterfeit money, he opened fire on the vehicle, striking the baby. After he had struck the baby, he realized that the gun was hot and decided to get rid of it and give it to one of his friends, who then killed another baby in less than 24 hours after young Haseen was shot 3 times. Some say 4, some say 3 times. After the shooting, Yasim Jenkins' father did not take him directly to the hospital to seek medical attention. Instead, he took him to a nearby friend's home. Then, he later took the child to the hospital to be treated for his injuries. Once the child was at the hospital, the father proceeded to leave and get out of Dodge. Nafis Monroe, who is the child's father, was later picked up on charges in regards to the child for endangering him and one other charge pertaining to the child. Then, in addition to that, he was picked up in regards to a violation that a warrant had already been issued for his arrest. In less than 24 hours of shooting Yasim Jenkins, Francisco Ortiz went ahead and got rid of the gun, considering that it was classified as hot, meaning that the gun could possibly have a body on it, but it had been utilized in the commission of a crime, so he immediately got rid of the gun at that point in time. He gave the gun to his friends who committed a murder of a 2-year-old girl less than 24 hours after baby Yasim was shot.
Philadelphia police now say there's a connection between 2 shootings in which 2 children were shot over the weekend. 2-year-old Nicolette Rivera was shot and killed on Water Street in Kensington on Sunday. Police identified the suspects as 30-year-old Freddie Perez and 25-year-old Tavon Thomas. Both are charged with Rivera's murder. Shots were fired into a home on Water Street. Nicolette was shot in her mother's arms. Her mother and a contractor were also shot and are recovering. Today, police said the suspect in a second shooting supplied the weapon that killed Rivera.
We believe that Francisco Ortiz supplied the AK-47 that was used to commit the homicide on Water Street.
Authorities say they have arrested Francisco Ortiz in the shooting of an 11-month-old baby boy in a car in Hunting Park on Saturday. Ortiz was taken into custody yesterday morning while he attended court on an unrelated charge. Police tell us the baby's condition is still touch and go. We're told if he survives, he'll likely be paralyzed.
While resting in her mother's arms, Nicolette Rivera was shot and killed by drug dealers. The drug dealers were after her father, and in order to seek revenge, they fired 6 rounds within the house. Each one of the victims were shot, but only baby Rivera was the one who passed away at 2 years old. Nicolette's father was not home at the time of the shooting, so he did not sustain any type of damages in relations to the shooting. However, the gun that was supplied again was supplied by Francisco Ortiz. Now that you guys get an understanding of what has transpired and the death of these 2 young kids, you know it wouldn't be a video if your girl Miss Lita didn't have some questions. So my first question is for Nassif. Why would you take your son to a drug deal? Why? Why? I just don't understand that. That baffles me. I understand that it's a baby, but children mimic our behaviors. And I just don't see how in the world that he thought that this drug dealer will look and see that there's a baby in the car and spare him by not shooting into the car. You don't play with people's money. And unfortunately, it is now almost 2-3 years later, and this baby has succumbed to his injuries due to his father's actions. Why would you take that child to a drug deal? Then my next question is, why wouldn't you immediately take the child to the hospital? What the heck could someone that you claim to be your friend or a nearby friend's house could possibly do for that child. That child could have gotten the care that they needed immediately if you would have simply took the child straight to the hospital. But instead you take them to a nearby friend's home. I don't even see how anyone can call you a father or the dad, because that's not father or dad material right there. Taking your child to a drug deal, and then you have such disregard for the child's life that you take the child to a friend's home instead of taking them to the hospital. And then when you finally do take the child to the hospital, you don't stay. You just drop the child off and keep going. That shows that you have no respect for your own child, that you disregard your own child's life. And that really pisses me off. That child didn't ask to be brought into this world. And because of your actions, this child is no longer here on earth. This child had to suffer the time that he was on earth because of your actions, because you thought that it would be okay to take a child to a drug deal. Where did they do that at? Please let me know, where did they do that at? Then my next question is, why would you use counterfeit money? Like I said again, people don't play about their money. They do not play about their money. Whether they're earning their money legally or illegally, people do not play about their money. And again, I don't see how you thought that having a child in the car was going to spare your car from getting shot up. I don't see how you thought that. I do not see how you thought that. So, my next question is, shouldn't Francisco Ortiz be brought up on more charges for giving the gun away that took yet another innocent life in less than 24 hours after Yasin was shot? Because again, he supplied him with the gun. And now this gun has yet another body on it. He's just as guilty in regards to supplying the gun. He's guilty. He's just as guilty for the death of this baby as well. And again, Nicolette died because they were trying to seek revenge on the father due to a drug deal gone wrong. Like, wow. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Are drugs more important than kids? Like, these kids didn't ask to be brought in the world. And if you didn't want these kids, or if you weren't going to protect them and do everything that you could for your kids, then you should have strapped up, buddy. Both of you. Or you shouldn't have been having sex, period. I just don't get that. I really don't. But I honestly feel like since Francisco Ortiz should be brought up on more murder charges for Nicolette as well, because he supplied the gun. He put the weapon in their hand. I feel like he should be brought up on murder charges for this baby as well. Not only should the two gentlemen, I think one's name is Freddie and the other one's name was Tavon, should be charged, but Francisco Ortiz should be charged as well. He supplied the gun. Had he have not supplied the gun because he was trying to get rid of it for being hot, maybe baby Nicolette would be here today. Maybe she would be here today. Then, my next thing is, Nassif, I feel like he should be brought up on more charges. You took your baby to a drug deal. And as a result of your actions for taking this baby to a drug deal, he got shot in his head. He got shot in his neck. He got shot in his butt. At 11 months old, this child sustained these type of injuries because of your stupidity and your ignorance to take this child to a drug deal, thinking that the child was going to spare your life. So for them to only charge you with recklessly endangering another person and endangering the welfare of a child, that's not enough. I feel like you should be charged with murder too. I'm sorry. It may be some that don't agree with me, and I'm okay with that. But I feel like this man should be brought up on murder charges as well, because he disregarded his child's life by taking him to a drug deal. Who does that? Who does that? And then not only that, it was other people within the vehicle. It was him, his girlfriend, and another gentleman in the back seat with the baby. But the baby is the only one who got his body riddled with bullets from an AK-47. Only the baby. Out of 3 adults within that vehicle, nobody could say, let's not take this child to a drug deal. Somebody had to have common sense. Somebody had to be a voice for that child. But instead, because of, again, their stupidity and their ignorance and their selfishness, they took this child to a drug deal and allowed the father to use counterfeit money to purchase drugs. I mean, that speaks volumes that you would even be in cahoots with someone who would utilize counterfeit money. And it wasn't the first time they said that it had been utilized. And they couldn't say that they didn't know that it was going to be used, because they said it was spread throughout the vehicle. The counterfeit money was spread throughout the vehicle. And I am quite sure everyone in there knows what they contributed in order to get them drugs. So if you didn't put in for them drugs, then where did the money come from? So again, someone should have had common sense and thought, it's not wise for us to take this baby to a drug deal. Now, the girlfriend, I don't know if she has kids or not, but as a mother, she should have been the first one to say, no, let's not take this child. You guys go ahead and do whatever you got to do, but we're not going to take this baby. But nobody had any regards for this child's life. So I do feel like he should be brought up on murder charges, because not only did he endanger his child, he knew the risk of taking a child to a drug deal. He knew the risk. He knew the risk. He knows what'll happen on the streets when you play with someone about their money. And they don't care who's around. They just want their money. So why would you think that they would spare your vehicle because you got your child. I don't get that. Then what makes me even more mad and upset is the fact that the newspaper and the prosecutor continue to say that Nassif used his son as a human shield. Now, I was already pissed off because of the fact that Nassif took his child to a drug deal. But when you read that title, that this father uses his child as a human shield, you're thinking, I could be wrong, maybe it was just me. You're thinking that they actually held the child in front because of the fact that they knew that they were getting shot at and using the child's body to cover them so that way they don't get hit with bullets. And that's not the case. That's not what transpired. I don't know if they want people to hate him more or what the deal is. But why say he used the baby as a human shield? He didn't hold that child in front of him to make sure that he didn't get hit with bullets. He did think that it would deter the situation because he had the child in the vehicle. However, he did not use the child as a human shield. And for someone to say that is asinine to me. Why would you say that he used the child as a human shield? He did not take his son and place the son in front of him so that way the son could sustain all the damages to him instead of him getting hit. He did not use his child to block bullets from being hit on his body. He didn't do that. So now you are taking something and spinning it and making it even worse than what it is. Do I agree with what Nassif did? Hell no. Bruh don't get a pass. He don't get a pass at all because you took your child to a drug deal. Then you didn't take your child immediately to the hospital. Hell, you didn't even stay with your child when you dropped him off at the hospital. So I don't respect him as a man because to me, he's a child. He's a boy. Nothing about him says that he's a man. Nothing. Nothing about him says that he's a father or a dad either. Because he was selfish in his acts. Selfish. Downright selfish. But it is one thing to report something and use twist of words. And that's what they did. And they made the story even worse than what it was. It was already bad. But using the words human shield made it even worse. Made it even worse. It made it to the point where you feel sick to your stomach to know that someone could possibly use a child as a human shield. And then to learn that wasn't the case. The child was there during the drug deal, which is bad. It's bad. And the father used counterfeit money, which resulted in the car getting shot up. But he did not take his child and place him in front of him to get his body riddled by bullets in order to avoid himself getting shot. Now that to me is ethically and morally wrong. I don't know who else would agree with me or who disagrees with me, but that is morally wrong. because you are placing this gentleman in another limelight. You are making him look like the scum of the earth by saying he used his child as a human shield. Those words just don't coincide. I just don't understand or believe why you would utilize the words human shield. As a prosecutor, you should have a clear, definitive answer and clarity of what a human shield is before you would put something like that out in the media. And for the media then to take it and run with it is, again, a poor use of words that are twisted. Because this man, yes, he did wrong. He did wrong. But he did not take his child and put his child in front of his body to avoid getting shot. Let's be clear on that. Then this poor baby Nicolette is resting in her mother's arms, not doing anything to anybody, in the privacy of her home with her mother. And she loses her life because they're trying to seek revenge on the dad for drugs. I just don't get that. I don't get that. Now they're facing 9 counts of attempted murder and 1 count of actual murder. They sprayed the house 6 times with an AK-47. And the intended target the whole time wasn't even in there. So you peeping the scene and you think you got a scope on your intended target and they ain't even in there. But you take out an innocent child, a child that had absolutely nothing to do with this drug deal. That baffles me. That baffles me. And if you have not ever dealt with someone who is on drugs and they put drugs before their kids, then I'm happy for you. Because I've dealt with situations like that before. And it's not something that you want to go through. And it makes you even more mad and upset when innocent kids wind up getting their lives taken away from them because of someone else's stupidity and selfishness. I really don't have any more questions because at this point I'm just truly at a loss of words. And my heart goes out to these mothers who now have had to bury their babies because of the father's actions. My heart truly goes out to them. And I pray to God that these innocent, beautiful kids will rest peacefully in God's arms.
Another day, another story. Keep it gangsta with Gangsta Mosey.
Keep it gangsta.
Another day, another story. Keep it gangsta with Gangsta Mosey.